Interviewing Wayne Blair, the director of the Sapphires. Thanks very much for talking to us.
Yeah, thanks, Darren.
Now, the buzz that this film's been getting is incredible.
Yep.
Everyone I talk to is excited to see the film.
Yep.
And everyone who has seen it is in love with it.
Yep.
So how does that make you feel?
Oh, geez, it's a beautiful feeling. We never expected this type of, this type of feedback, I suppose, and it's just good to get it out there now. We've been talking about it and working on the project for the last 12 months, and just to get it out to Australia, it's a good feeling.
Definitely. Now, the story of the Sapphires is quite dear to you. What is it about the story that wanted you to direct it?
Well, it's just to say that these 4 girls, Aboriginal girls, did participate, and they were representative of so much more back in 1968. And the script and the stage play just had so much love and joy and heart, but it just took us on a journey. And we're the stage show. I mean, we're in the stage show, and it was sort of, you're in a theatre. But what the film does so much more is take you to when they were young girls. It takes you to Vietnam. It takes you to Melbourne. So it goes on a journey for 100 minutes. So, but I mean, what struck me about it was love, joy, heart, and that soul music.
Definitely. And you were involved in the stage play back in 2005.
Oh, no, yeah, it was actually. God, what are we now?
2012.
2012.
What was it like doing the transition from stage to screen?
Well, look, there was about 7 years in between, so I didn't really think about it that much, to be honest. I've been asked that question a couple of times, but it's sort of more ignorance is bliss rather than sort of thinking about it.
Yeah.
But the writers, Tony and Keith, fleshed out the stage show to the film much more. So it was just getting those factors right, and actually, as I said, actually going to those places and getting a bit of great art design and getting that look of 1968. Yeah. So we had the opportunity to do that.
Definitely. And
those girls are loud, aren't they?
I don't know whether everyone else will be able to hear them, but yes, they're next door.
They're just next door. I just want some quiet time away from those two. But anyway, don't tell them that.
No, we won't. We won't tell them that. Now, casting is a huge part of the film, and obviously you've got this wonderful cast, and Shari's cut off from this banner, but she's on the poster over there. Okay. Was it a difficult thing to cast?
It took us about 6 to 8 months to find the right 4 girls. We wanted to see as many women as possible around the country, so it wasn't difficult. It just was, I suppose, time-consuming and being patient. The casting of Chris O'Dowd in the role of Dave Lovelace, we had a couple. The role was initially English. He was an Englishman. Yeah. I dare say from Keith Thompson's heritage, him being of English origin. So it was getting him right, and he wasn't the first choice, and I've gladly told him this, and he knows this, and we have a laugh about it, and he pays me out because of it. But once we saw him in Los Angeles in Bridesmaids, the film that it sort of opened the weekend before, and it sort of did some good money, and it was just sort of, oh, geez, I wish I'd love to get Chris O'Dowd in the film. And I wasn't a big IT crowd person. Now I am. Yeah, but I watch it and I go, oh, gee, I said to him, I like Moss better than I did. But they're both great, but Moss is my favourite. And he goes, oh, I'll tell Richard that. But he probably hasn't. But just to get him on board, that was the one that was the key for it all. And so those 4 girls and one guy to work together for 2 months, and just to have the type of energy and just the love they've sort of shared with each other was great. Definitely.
And speaking of Chris, how did you go about getting him involved? Did you just shoot him the script and he loved it and it went?
I asked him this question because he was, we shot him the script, to his agent, to himself, and he enjoyed it the first read, and he just, where the character of Dave was sitting was, he was such a nice guy in this world, and so we wanted to make him just a little bit more of a, not a bad guy, but just a bit more fractured from the start. Yep. So he was basically a couple of conversations, Skype meetings. We worked on the script because of him a couple of times. So it was a lot put in the space of 3 or 4 weeks. Definitely. But once he could see we were working on it. But what he said to me, then he said yes, but what he said to me, he just loved the world. It was a new world that he could sort of delve into, and it was a world that sort of came across to him, and he just went, I just got to be in that world once the script was right. Yeah, and Deborah Marmon as Gail, she's an incredible actress. Yeah. I used to love her in Secret Life of Us back in the day. Getting her on board, because she was also involved in the play as well, the stage play. How was that? it was funny. Deb wanted to audition with the best of them, and I said the same thing because I wanted to see who we could unearth or who the new talent was.
Yeah.
And so she had just auditioned 5 or 6 times, but she said to myself and Tony and the producers that she wanted to do that to see if it wasn't past her. And once you see the film, you can see that she definitely was the goods.
Yeah, she blew me away throughout the entire film, and the relationship with Chris was fantastic on screen.
Yeah, they just have that chemistry, which is sort of true, and yeah.
Definitely, and you got Jessica Mauboy in as the youngest of the cast. She came in a bit later on in the piece.
Yeah.
What was it like getting her? She's got the big voice, but the acting side of it did you have to give her much direction to get into it, or?
No, well, it was funny. With Jess's auditions, because she had to audition as well. She just keep getting better and better, and you could see she wanted it. And I suppose that's why she's Jess Mauboy today, because she's just such a hard worker, but she listens and she sort of retains information, and it just sinks to somewhere that's real. So I just worked on her, a little bit in the pre-rehearsals, the pre-production, and once she got the role, she was just, okay, let's work harder again. So look, she's just a hard worker. I don't know, it just pays off. Yeah,
you can see it in the film, definitely. Now, you shot some of the film in Saigon. It was like the first film in 10 years, foreign film in 10 years to shoot there. What was that like logistically, considering the amount of people that they have living there?
Oh, God.
It would be a nightmare.
Yeah, when I think about it now, it was pretty amazing. Like, we had to sort of stop a bridge, 40 million people travelling to work at 11 o'clock in the morning. But getting around was the main thing. Getting from each location was the hardest thing. But once we got to that location, the people were just so friendly. And, I didn't know that fact about the 10 years until we sort of got back. But we had a couple of government officials travelling around us with the whole time, just making sure we were doing the right things and adhering to the Vietnamese side of the story and see how Vietnamese people were represented. That was it. But, they were so generous and welcoming, and maybe if I knew that fact before, I'd be a bit more a bit more cautious. But we were. But it was, Saigon 1968, Saigon 2012. It was pretty amazing, actually. And we were staying at the Rex Hotel, which is like that sort of famous hotel in Saigon where all the American journalists stayed during the war. And so they could see the war happening around them from the rooftop. The hotel's changed much, but it's changed a lot. But it was sort of, just sort of that nice feeling of being there.
Well, that's incredible, because like when we were watching the film, like I was sitting with a couple of other writers and we were commenting on how good it looked.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it looks like a $100 million budget film.
Well, I can assure you it wasn't that much.
But basically, it did. You guys went to a lot of effort.
10% of that, Darren,
You guys went to a lot of effort to make it look incredible, and you just pulled it off extremely well.
Yeah, well, just one of the things of being prepared, and, Warwick Thornton was a cinematographer, and we worked very well together, and it just happened and worked, and, there's a little bit of VFX we had to do at the end, and just to get things right, and that was it.
Yeah, but you had military vehicles, you had like helicopters and tanks, and you had some really good flyover shots as well, and it just, I was just really taken back with how good it looked. For Aussie films, you don't usually see that sort of production value come into it, but you guys really stepped it up, and we all commented on it after the film.
Oh, that's a lovely thing, but I mean, it was hard work getting there.
I bet it was. I bet it was. Now, one thing I wanted to ask is about Cannes Film Festival.
Yep.
You guys got a standing ovation, a good solid 10-minute standing ovation.
Yep.
How did that feel? Because not many movies have done it. Like there's a few that I know of that have done it, but when you look at Australian films, it doesn't happen that often. So how did it feel?
Oh, it was just a beautiful feeling that the story resonated with 2,000 French people. I mean, just to have that, and just for them to hop up off their feet, because the scary stories you sort of hear, and a couple of filmmakers mentioned that people might get up out of their seats or you hear
leave in the first couple of seconds. And
sort of like we didn't hear that, so that was refreshing for the first 15-20 minutes. But as the film progressed, it was funny sitting in that theatre, because there's a number of laugh lines, and did they laugh at that? And I said, Wayne, just shut up, just watch the film and just relax and just chill out.
Enjoy it.
You're going to get out of the theatre in a second. Just relax, Wayne. And then at the end, and we had a couple of people tell us, you know, from the PR people over there, when you finish the film, just they'll stop running the credits, they'll turn the music down, and just, you know, people will clap and just acknowledge them.
Yeah.
Especially people up in the stalls and people, because it was a 2,300 seat theatre, and that's what I sort of just did. And they sort of got up, and I was like, okay, stop now, stop clapping. So we can get out and we can go to the party or just get out, because it was sort of a sense of relief to have the film finished. But no, it was a beautiful thing, you know. And once we got out there, it was just like, whoa, just thank you, and just go to the party. I didn't even really drink. I didn't even have a party.
And then the press just went wild.
Well, it did. It was, and I didn't really expect the press the next day too, because I think I didn't sleep that night because I just couldn't get to sleep. And I slept, you know, one of those sleeps you sleep for the last hour, like at 10 o'clock you get called, but I went to bed at 9. I thought I'd go, I'll get a quick half an hour. And then I remember Chris O'Dowd and Tori Kittles, who played Robbie in the film, were knocking at my door, and I walked out in my dressing going, what's going on? And they said, we got to go, we got the official photographers coming. And I went, oh, shivers. And I didn't realise how big that was until we got there. And they're all just sitting there. It's those photos you see of Woody Allen or Ryan Gosling, or, you know, Scarlett Johansson getting photoed at this special place with the sea in the background and all that. And I was just like, at least I should have made a little bit more of an effort.
No. Even still, getting a film shown at Cannes and getting that sort of response is incredible. So, hats off to you. Now, the film's been picked up in the US by Harvey Weinstein.
Yes.
Have you actually had a chat with him at all?
I've had a number of conversations, which is great. I mean,
I'm a huge fan of his.
Oh, right. God, like, that's just his stories. You know, he said to me, he rang me from London, and I was in Catherine, working with some young people up there. He rang me in the motel at 12 o'clock at night, and one of his associates, the head of distribution in London, just said, I got someone that wants to meet you, Wayne. And I was like, hey, Wayne, it's Harvey here. And I was like, hey, Harvey. And I said, hey, where are you? I said, I understand you're in the middle of Australia. And I was like, yeah, Harvey, I am. I'm just in a motel car park, so I'm just talking quiet. Don't want to wake everyone up. He's like, hey, Wayne, I love the film. We want to buy your film. We will love the story. I want to give you a story to the world. My American accent's bad, but yeah, you know, and that was it. And so, we've talked a number of times on emails. But
well, he's taken plenty of Oscar winners to the Oscars every year. So, and they're releasing it in Oscar season. By what I've read. So.
Look, I think what he wants to do is just give the story to America and just hand it out there. So I'm not too sure about that, to be honest, but we'll just see how it goes with the release in America, and hopefully a number of people see it.
Well, if anyone's going to get it around, Harvey will. So that's the best thing.
Let's see how we go, Darren.
Definitely. So when people are watching the film in the cinema, what do you want them to get out of it? What do you want them to feel when they walk out of the cinema?
Geez, a sense of being human again. You know, just films I grew up on the 80s and 90s, and just you have a little tear and you have a little laugh and you sort of feel human, and you want to maybe eat some ice cream or ring up your girlfriend, ring up your mum, say, hey mum, I'm coming home this Christmas. Oh, really? I don't know, just to feel human again and have a sense of family. And because it's a film I made for my mum, and we wanted to get it right for Tony's family, because that was the most important, but then also for the Indigenous community and for the rest of Australia.
Definitely.
And so, you know, you never know, it might make a difference.
We'll definitely get that, mate. Definitely. Thanks very much for talking to us, Wayne. Good luck with the opening in Australia on the 9th of August.
Yes, this Thursday.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it.